Do you like A1 sauce so much that you drink it straight out of the bottle? While that might sound ridiculous, there's kind of a way to actually pull it off. Here's a guide to avoid some common mistakes with this classic condiment. The versatility of A1 sauce is frequently underrated. Obviously, it's great on steak, but it's also perfect on chicken wings. One great option is basting dry rubbed wings while they finish cooking in a pellet smoker. Ultimately, the tangy flavor of A1 blends seamlessly with the smoked chicken. And this is just one of many ways to pair A1 sauce and wings. There's an entire thread on the unpopular opinion subreddit about how it's even better on chicken than it is on steak. We suspect that pretty soon this may actually become a popular opinion. You can even make your own custom condiment by mixing A1 with barbecue sauce. And that's just a starting point to get inspired the next time you're saucing up a plate of wings. Despite its meaty reputation, there are plenty of ways to serve A1 with vegetables or vegetarian dishes. For example, you can try it on green beans, sautéed mushrooms, and even tofu. Or you can get totally tubular and try it on baked or mashed potatoes or even French fries. You can also try pairing it with plant-based meat replacement options such as seitan. And considering the recent advances in this area, why not lather some on an Impossible or Beyond burger? Another popular vegetarian combination is A1 sauce and broccoli. You'll find plenty of love for this pairing option among the food lovers of Reddit. You can even opt for ranch-seasoned broccoli when you pair it with A1. In general, if you're a vegetarian or vegan who misses the taste of steak, then adding A1 to veggies is a great idea.
Eat your vegetables.
Most people are accustomed to seeing the original A1 sauce in stores, but the classic flavor is only part of the story. The available varieties include spicy chipotle, sweet chili garlic, smoky black pepper, and hickory blended with barbecue sauce. The brand also offers 5 pre-mixed marinades, many of which represent regional flavors. For example, you can try a Texas mesquite flavor inspired by traditional barbecue ingredients, or a tart spicy variety reminiscent of marinades from New York steakhouses. And the array of A1 sauce products is broader than just bottled condiments. For instance, there's the brand's line of dry rub seasoning mixes, particularly the original flavor. There's a lovely balance of spices in this dry rub, and it tends to be reasonably priced. While some users believe the rub is too salty, others feel that the flavor is perfectly suitable for various types of meat and poultry. Unfortunately, several online reviews have expressed issues with tracking it down, so you may have to plan some strategic shopping. While some A1 sauce fans may joke about loving this condiment enough to drink it, one person actually made a Reddit thread devoted to the idea of enjoying it straight out of the bottle. Although most people would probably agree that actually drinking it isn't ideal, A1 can be a great addition to various cocktails. For example, you can slip it in a Bloody Mary to create a smokier flavor. And there are other brunch-friendly drinks that can also benefit from the sauce's tangy flavor. For those who enjoy beer cocktails, the Washington Post published a recipe for a drink it calls the Red Eye that consists of A1 sauce, tomato juice, Schlitz beer, and various other seasonings. This brew reflects the drink's original inspiration, a similar offering once served at the Passenger Cocktail Bar in Washington, D.C. Of course, home cooks can substitute this recipe with other American-style lagers to customize the cocktail's flavor. And fans of a certain Mexican drink may notice that the ingredients are similar to those used in a michelada. Not only is A1 sauce still mostly associated with steaks, but most people only eat it at dinner. That makes sense, but if this describes you, then you're really missing out, because this classic sauce also makes a delicious addition to breakfast dishes. Steak-friendly condiments are among the best sauces to serve with eggs, thanks to their ability to balance out rich, fatty recipes. One great idea in this regard is lathering A1 on a fried egg sandwich. You can also pair it with other traditional breakfast foods, including hash browns and scrambled eggs.
What if we always said is the most important thing?
Breakfast.
Since this sauce obviously pairs well with meat, it also makes an excellent dip for meats that are typically served for breakfast, including bacon, sausage, and ham. You can also add it to a sausage biscuit, a popular sandwich at many fast food joints. So maybe bring a bottle of A1 with you when you're on the go. It's also a perfect match for other meat-heavy breakfast options, like breakfast burritos or even corned beef hash. However, the best breakfast match for A1 sauce is probably the classic steak and eggs, which combines the two proteins that benefit most from this sauce's flavor profile. Due to its longtime association with steak, many people might wrongly assume that A1 sauce can't be a part of a vegan diet. Although many similar condiments contain animal products such as anchovies, honey, or ambiguous natural flavors, the ingredients for A1 primarily include tomato puree, corn syrup, and spices. Even potassium sorbate, the primary preservative used in the sauce, is appropriate for vegan diets. Furthermore, despite lacking an official vegan certification, A1 does have endorsements from several vegan-friendly sources. For example, PETA includes it in a list of condiments that are usually vegan. However, the vegan distinction only applies to the original flavor, as PETA doesn't include any other A1 varieties in its list. This fact doesn't automatically exclude the other varieties from a vegan diet, but you should double-check the ingredient labels before purchasing. For example, the A1 sweet chili garlic sauce and assorted bottled marinades contain sugar, which strict vegans may prefer to avoid. In general, just make sure to simply double-check the ingredient list to avoid eating anything unsuitable for your diet. Traditionally, shepherd's pie is a humble dish that consists of ground meat, usually in the form of lamb or beef. It also contains peas and carrots, and it's cooked in a brown gravy-style sauce. Recipes for the gravy can vary greatly and include everything from tomato sauce to beef broth. And then there are the many cooks who swear by using Worcestershire sauce to achieve this dish's signature taste. Although Worcestershire sauce is at the heart of several shepherd's pie recipes, the original A1 is also an excellent addition. The two sauces combine well, as they contain many complementary flavor notes.
Yum.
If you look over the ingredient lists of both A1 and Worcestershire sauce, it's clear that they have similar sweet, acidic, and savory components. For example, both contain vinegar, onion, and garlic. However, A1 has a thicker consistency. Therefore, for anyone who prefers a thicker gravy in their shepherd's pie, opting for some A1 is an easy way to improve the texture of this dish to your liking. However, A1 does also contain more sweeteners than Worcestershire, so home cooks may need to experiment with various ratios to achieve the perfect flavor profile. A common debate about A1 sauce is how exactly to store it. Although the label recommends refrigerating it after opening, there are those who ignore that guideline and instead keep it at room temperature. In a thread on the cooking subreddit, some people report that they store A1 in a cupboard or pantry, while others swear by keeping it with their other condiments in the refrigerator door. In favor of room temperature storage are the preservative qualities of the sauce's ingredients. However, just because refrigeration isn't required doesn't mean it's not the best option. A1 sauce can remain fresh in the refrigerator for a staggering 2 years, even after opening. This extended shelf life is primarily due to vinegar's antimicrobial properties, while cold temperatures slow bacteria growth even further. Ultimately, the best way to store A1 depends on how quickly you'll finish an open bottle. For those who only use it occasionally, refrigeration is the way to go. On the other hand, if A1 is your go-to daily condiment, you can go ahead and store it in a dry place away from heat sources. For example, a pantry is a great option, while cabinets near the stove should be avoided. The 1950s were a time when people experimented with many fantastic and strange recipes, including a tuna fish mold made with gelatin and A1 sauce. This recipe was initially printed as a magazine ad, and even included a mail-in coupon for the signature fish mold. Despite the dish's rather strange collection of ingredients, it's actually worth trying. According to the Dr. Bob's Kitchen blog, this long-forgotten recipe is quick and easy to make. Although it looks like a science experiment gone wrong, the taste testers even gave it top marks for flavor. One person made an effort to replicate the recipe, right down to using the same kind of fish-shaped mold, and then reported the results on Reddit. They were shocked by how good this strange concoction tasted, but advised that it was a little too strong to eat on its own. Instead, they suggested enjoying it as a spread on bagels or crackers. Meanwhile, if the idea of tuna gelatin sounds too unappetizing to you, you can simply add A1 to plain tuna instead. In 2014, two hosts of the Q Morning radio show ate the sauce on canned tuna as part of a Gross Food Week segment, and both agreed that the combination was surprisingly tasty.
Look, she's going for seconds.
Marinating is an excellent way to tenderize and add flavor to beef, poultry, and pork. There are countless types of marinades, but most recipes include an acidic element such as vinegar or citrus juice to soften proteins before cooking. A well-balanced marinade also contains fat in the form of oil, salt, and other seasonings. Since distilled vinegar is one of the primary ingredients in A1 sauce, It makes for a perfect acidic ingredient for any marinade recipe. Furthermore, A1's combination of spices makes it easy to season a marinade without having to add multiple extra components. Simply combining the sauce with olive or vegetable oil can make for a suitable marinade for any meat. Furthermore, A1 blends well with many other flavors, so you can use the sauce as a base and add other ingredients. For example, try mixing it with Italian dressing, Worcestershire sauce, and lemon juice. Or tweak the components as you see fit and customize them to your liking. Plenty of people are accustomed to reading nutritional facts and ingredient lists on their favorite condiments, but there's one section of the A1 sauce label that you might miss if you're not careful: the recipe suggestion, which is a cheddar potato pie. This dish is a straightforward casserole that only requires 5 ingredients: ground beef, shredded cheese, onions, mashed potatoes, and of course, A1 sauce. It's a riff on a shepherd's pie that's vastly simplified to highlight the flavor of its star condiment. According to the label, the recipe takes 30 minutes to prepare and serves 4 people, which makes it perfect if you're looking for a quick family meal. The recipe is also available on the Kraft Heinz website, where you can easily adjust ingredient amounts based on the desired number of servings. Since this dish is very basic, it offers endless room for customization. For example, although the recipe features the original A1 sauce flavor, you can easily substitute any of your other favorite varieties. This dish can also work with ground lamb for a more classic shepherd's pie flavor, or ground turkey for a lower fat option. Furthermore, home cooks can add more vegetables, including mushrooms, peas, or carrots. The possibilities are truly endless.